Welcome everybody to the Rondack Junction, and welcome to the Reading and Northern Semi-Sesquicentennial Steam Spectacular, or as, like myself and many other would call it, a once-in-a-lifetime event. Because I don't see this happening again anytime soon. We start our day in Nescooning, where I was mostly just going down there to stake out potential rail fanning spots, as you do, and was surprised to see the Reading's T1 just sitting there, under steam. This was my first time seeing big steam under its own power, as the last time I was at the Reading and Northern, the engine was up in the roundhouse, cold. So, I'll let you enjoy the sights and sound of this locomotive sitting still, and enjoy the ferry move to Jim Thorpe, where it had been turned around and prepared for the next day's trip. After they backed up and crossed over to the main, I made my way down to the next crossing to catch their departure from Nescooning. We then made our way to Jim Thorpe, where we happened to cross one of the Lehigh Scenics trains backing right back into the station, right as we had arrived. You can hear the whistle from the caboose and the locomotive going off at the same time. We then spent a couple hours, and actually I think the rest of the day, just exploring Jim Thorpe. It's a gorgeous town, and I highly recommend visiting.
Sunday night or Monday morning to be up there for the week.
So your train from Nequahoning Sunday, Pittston and then
Yep, and then it's going to follow us from Pittston to Nescooning. Yeah,
on Sunday you're coming back to Pittston.
and yep, and Saturday. Tomorrow and Sunday. Yeah, it's going to follow our training tomorrow.
The dome car.
Let's go with the big break when our train returns from Pittston tomorrow, whatever time that is. But the big boy's going to follow right to Nescooning. We're only literally going to be about a quarter mile behind it.
All right. After watching one of the Lehigh Gorge scenic trains back into the station, we spent the rest of the day wandering around Jim Thorpe, taking in all the sights and things that there were to see. It's a gorgeous town that I would highly recommend visiting sometime. Day 2 of our Reading and Northern trip, and I think I have found today's train. Unfortunately, I don't have tickets for it, but those are some gorgeous Pensy coaches. And I see a dome car up there as well. We shall see. But today, we're hiking. Well, that was a train, just not the one being pulled by the T1. We were told that there would be about 5 or 6 trains going up the line today following the Reading T1, so the original plan was to hike along the trail and see what we could. I would later change my mind and realize my mistake when I had to hike the 2 miles back to the Jim Thorpe parking lot from Glenanoka, not realizing there was a parking lot over there as well. But we'll get to that later. The train you see now is one of the Reading's bike trains. Train that'll take you up the mountain and drop you off somewhere up the line and you'll bike back. Well, after about 30 minutes or so of walking, thank you. We have reached the yard limit, which means we're finally getting off of the Y, and we're going to start going that way over the bridge. And then we'll hang out there and wait for a steam engine. Looks like an old junction building, junction house. Switch tower, maybe? Control point. If anyone knows, let me know. I'll have to do some digging. Walking across the Nescooning Bridge, and I guess the MOW truck is making its way across. Hi there. I don't know if you can see it, but it is blinking up there. My goal is to catch it at the tunnel. Well, we've walked far enough to find an old tunnel portal. Not realizing how far away the tunnel actually was, I decided to set up shop here. This is where I met Lee, a fellow rail fan who had made quite the trek to get all the way here to Pennsylvania, so we decided to share some footage. I'll make sure to make a note of it when his footage is on screen. It was at this point that I realized I would be chasing this train all the way over the mountain to Dupont and back. So Lee was nice enough to give me a small ride back to the bridge where I had crossed over, and I had to make the very hasty trek back to my car to try and catch it up at Whitegate. Oh hey, there's that bike train again. After making it back to my car, I figured the next best place to catch the train would be at Glen Summit, not knowing if it would be there by the time I got there. I got lucky, finding it stopped to take on water. So I parked up next to the most open spot I could find and set up camp. something else I learned in my travels during this event. This was the longest train the T1 had pulled since its return to service. 25 cars in total, not counting the diesels, which make 27 in total. So, needless to say, it was getting quite the workout going up over the mountain. Though, while up in the mountains, a thought did cross my mind. Wonder what Aaron's up to.
So you ever hear the book, You Give a Mouse a Cookie? This is that. So now that we've got this fixed, and we've got this fixed, well, now we're going to have to fix this. And in order to fix this, we're going to have to replace this from here to here. So now I got to go get another piece of rail off the scrap pile and, yeah. Mission creep something something.
He's probably doing track work, or he might not be doing anything. He might be bored. It's too hot out anyways. Well, by some stroke of luck, I made it to Dupont Crossing without realizing it, and I caught what can only be described as a foamer's dream, as 2102 and 4014 met for the first time on Reading's home rails.
They are meeting here.
Oh, yeah, this camera's gonna fly right. Look at the seatbelt.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I guess it is coming down this far.
We got two steam trains.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're supposed to meet up here.
Right here? 'Cause I saw
Oh,
it
right here?
someplace.
Oh god, it is coming here. Oh! Back up!
That's why they stopped. That's why they stopped.
Yeah, there's the tail! Oh, there she is. Look at that. Woo! I couldn't have planned that better. Oh my God. Look at her. Holy shit. Woo! That explains why it stopped back on the curve.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't even know if my video's good. I was just enjoying the moment, man.
Yeah, I was just trying to look at it with my own eyes too.
This is something that will never happen again. There's a...
I would never see it.
Oh my god, this makes the whole trip.
Oh my god, it's so weird.
Oh my god, that is amazing. As we made our way back to the car, we were interrupted by the crossing gates falling once again as 4014 began to reverse back to Pittston. I wasn't aware that it was going to do this, but turns out they were going to go park in Pittston together, 4014 and 2102, to get some photo ops and let the crews have a break.
Yeah, things do look better from farther away. Get right up on it, all you see is the wheels.
Don't blame her.
He was trucking too. Betty, what's going on? Big stuff at Dupont today. We got a show here. They put a show on. They did the like you're looking this way, and then all of a sudden the train's coming. You're like, holy shit! And then the smell of the coal.
I never in my life. Yeah, it's not something you actually see very often. Never in my lifetime did I think I'd ever actually see this thing going forwards.
Then you saw it go backwards.
Yeah. We would head off for lunch and hang around for a while until around 2 o'clock when the big boy and 2102 would return this way. In the meantime, I even got to meet Harrison, Ed's dog. Get a video of you too, buddy. Hey, Harrison, come back. No, he's sniffing. He's like, I heard the train go by. He's up there somewhere. Hi, buddy. Oh, you're such a good boy.
Hey, I got a video of the train.
I did too. After grabbing lunch, I'd set my camera back where I was originally and wait for 4014 to come back south. Once 4014 came to a stop, I'd make my way back to my car and head up the mountain to try and catch both locomotives storming up the 2.5 grade side by side. So I missed the great steam race up at the Oak Street crossing, but I do have footage of it, thanks to my friend Lee, whose shot will be coming up next. While Lee was at Oak Street, I had made my way about 2 miles south of the line up the mountain to catch them on the grade itself. And I do not regret this decision, though 4014 did steal the show a bit out of this shot.
Not much can beat a Reading 6.
My first time hearing it, I was hoping to see it.
Yeah.
I did get to see it, and I know it's a loud locomotive.
First time I'm seeing either of these. I didn't think I'd ever see 4014 in person.
But listen to it. They gotta be running side by side.
Yep.
Steam train race.
Oh my goodness.
Got to watch it.
There hasn't been one of these since Cajon Pass.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 locomotives down there.
Should be the 20 episode of the 4014. That's what was down there.
Oh yeah, I was talking to the crew on the back end of 4014. Nice people.
That's cool. Oh, here we go.
Listen to that. It's beautiful, man. Oh, here they are. I can tell which one's the high stepper now. Listen to a bark. Oh, that's doing well too. Giving it the full feeds. 4014 just kind of striding along. Well, yeah, but take a wild guess who's got the longer train.
Yeah.
Look at which one's the tail end.
Still
Pulling ahead.
Starting to speed up, actually. 4014 slowed down a little bit.
At this point, my camera had 10% battery left on it, and my camera was my phone, so it was also my navigation. So I had made the unfortunate decision to head back to the hotel and charge up a bit. But luck would once again be on my side, as stopping for water in Whitehaven and a delay in Nescooning would allow me to have time to charge my phone and get down to Nescooning to film them both around. And to explain what you're about to see, the reason there are 2 diesels on the point of 2102 is It didn't run out of coal, but the crew had made the decision that there was not enough coal in the tender to fire the rest of the way down the mountain and keep it hot overnight. So they had some diesel helpers tie on and tow 2102 back into Nescahoning to top off on
I
coal.
wonder why it's being pulled by a diesel.
That way they didn't put out the fire and have to relight it for the morning.
I guess staying up by where I parked was a good idea.
Houses here that go down.
Oh, there it is.
Town, they sit their back porch.
It's here. Oh, and then you're going to get all these people that just stop in the road.
I know I'm not the most foremost expert in rail photography, but for the love of all things sane, please don't be the person that paces the train. It causes traffic, it ruins everyone else's shot, and it's all around just a nuisance more than anything else.
You're right, he's coming head on.
It's mine. Don't worry about it. You want to be holding.
Oh, just stopping down there? 4014 would then stop and sit at this crossing for quite some time. I could only assume it was to let everyone on the Reading and Northern train to have a moment to walk up and take a good look at the engine before they pulled up to a spot where no public access was available. Oh, they did it again. Those bangs you just heard were a couple of fireworks to mark the end of a successful run over the division.
I don't think it.
Unsure of whether the train would move again, I began walking back to my car when I was suddenly surprised to hear two short blasts dictating that it in fact was moving, and it was pulling up right to where my car was parked. This would be the last shot I'd filmed today, as crowds were getting antsy, traffic was getting heavy, and my phone was full and overheating. We would return in the morning to Glenanoco, where this whole trip began, to catch 4014 and 2102, departing from Nescooning one last time. Half an hour later, 4014 would begin its departure from Nequahoning, and I would see it for the final time. And I would finally get the shot that I had been waiting for this whole trip. A UP big boy going under East Coast signals. Something that's happened many times during this trip, but this would be the only time I would see it. Thanks for watching, and enjoy this last shot of 4014 on Reading and Northern Rails.